First News with Keeler in the morning on WIBX and WIBX950.com.
For some reason, I asked if it was okay to bring her on the air, and she said no.
Really?
I'm kidding. On the line right now, Dr. Rebecca Good. She is an education expert, and boy, education has been so much in the forefront of people's minds this year. I don't know that we've ever had a time. I mean, Common Core was nothing compared to COVID. Dr. Rebecca Good, do you agree?
Oh, there's no question, because we're in our third year of trying to reinvent ourselves. I mean, we thought this was the school year where we got to come back into school. Yes, a little bit socially distanced. Yes, washing our hands. Yes, following the COVID protocols. But we thought this was going to be the year we got to have a more normal year.
Yeah.
But instead it's been just as bad, because the politics, the mandates, the back and forth and the squabbles between the governors and the health departments, what the districts feel they should do, because it sounds healthy to wear masks and so forth. It's keeping things in a turmoil, and it just, there's no end to it right now.
Yeah. And then you add the masks and the board meetings, and the parents upset over the masks, and then parents upset over no masks. I mean, it is it's really the most trying time I think we've really ever seen, at least in modern times. So this is kind of interesting. And my wife's a teacher, and of course we were right at every board meeting as well. By the way, attendance at board meetings way up.
Yes.
Yeah, so are the shenanigans.
Yeah, I'm afraid that's true also. So, and the problem was social distancing on buses. So it meant extra runs. And all of a sudden, when a parent says, I'll drive my kid to school, that sounds good to a school district.
Well, to the point where school districts are willing to pay parents now. We have a district in Wilmington, Delaware, that's paying $700 a year for parents to pick up and drop off their own kids.
Wow. And that is, think about how, and it's probably cost effective. I hate to say it.
Well, in the long run, probably, because not only are buses not running, but you're not having to pay employees and benefits and all that stuff.
Right.
So, again, we're in a transition time. Public education is in the midst now of reinventing itself from a curriculum standpoint, infrastructure, technology, and so the other legs of the octopus, so to speak, are...
Okay, I just completely lost her. So technology isn't all that great after all now, is it?
But I have to tell you, I was just telling Tim, it's quite impressive, the sound quality, the fact that she is talking to you on your phone, how impressive the sound quality was, being that it was a phone call.
Yeah, it was like she was here.
Well, when it's hooked up properly, it's amazing how it can work, right?
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Technology.
We've had quite a technological morning here. So, and speaking of technology, Doc, you, what stays? I think that we struggled with the online exclusive learning experience. Yet there were some students that thrived during it. Yes. Many others did not. What did we learn through all of this?
Well, I'm hoping we've learned not to throw the baby out with the bathwater. In some states, they are doing that. They're saying, absolutely, we're going to outlaw virtual school. We're not going to pay for it even if there's COVID and it sends a classroom home. But in other states, they're realizing that virtual school in some form is here to stay.
Yeah.
And so I think that we haven't really seen what virtual school will look like, considering what it could be in 10 years. Because our teachers haven't been trained to do that. Nobody's really thought to say, how can we do virtual school permanently well? But we're getting there, but it's going to be a slower process because so many things are going on at the same time. But we did open that Pandora's box. We did realize that we can have kids not lag behind if they broke their leg and have to be home for a week. We can keep them up in some form or fashion, and that's not a bad thing, right?
Yeah, and I think the technology is so important, and it's what we still are lacking a little bit. We're almost there. We're not quite there. Where the problem of a teacher teaching, especially in elementary school where the students are a little younger, attention is a little more difficult early on, first, second grade, especially, I would imagine, where teaching in person and online became a real problem.
Right, and that is something that we had to learn. We didn't know that, right?
Yeah,
we had to go through that process, and so we know that's not a good practice anymore. So pretty much we're moving away from that. Are
you worried that that kids this class last year and even this year are behind, or are schools reacting with a different curriculum to catch everybody up?
Well, definitely we should be cognizant and a little bit worried, but we shouldn't have all these dire predictions. I always remind people, I've read multiple articles on kids who came from war-torn countries. They didn't speak English. They hadn't been in school. They're 10, 12 years old. And yet, you know what? They come to the United States. They focus. They get the support they need. And they graduate high school, college, and master's program. Outstanding students. So it can be done. We just have to put our focus, understanding that, you know, we have a bigger gap to do, right?
Yeah.
So those are some of the things that we just need to keep into consideration.
And then there is this very important part, and I'm not judging anybody. My kids are now out of public schools and either working or off to college. So we made our own mistakes when we were parents. But if you have a positive outlook,
yes,
it helps the kid get through it. If you have a negative outlook on whatever it might be, it almost gives the child a free pass to not be happy or to not be productive, etc. What are your thoughts on that?
I think you're exactly right. All the research says that if you go in with positive expectations, you get positive results. If you don't, you don't.
Yeah, that's pretty simple.
You're exactly right.
Okay, Dr. Rebecca Good, thank you so much for the time. We appreciate it.
Thank you, sir.
Have
Bye-bye.
a great day. She had to go. We have to wrap it up.
That's right. You did
see
fine,
that, Andrew, but she seemed
she clearly didn't hang up on us. Yeah.
She was moving along.